LinkedIn says you're not approved for LinkedIn Live. It's only available for a limited group of members. Okay.
Whatever.
So I'll remove it. Remove. Save changes. Miguel, how are you?
Good, Ed. How are you?
Good. So this is our first live stream together, and for those that are watching, we're learning our ropes with this stuff. So if there's any bumps along the way, we apologize. But thanks for having us or watching if you are. So what I want to start with, Miguel, I want to do a series of interviews. And for those that don't know me, I'm Ed Kaminsky from the Kaminsky Real Estate Group. I'm here with Miguel Gurza. Do you need your headsets?
Yeah.
Are you listening through there?
Yeah, they're connected to the.
Okay, good. Great. And so what I want to do is really just tap into Miguel. Who is he? What makes him think? How does he work and why? And I thought this would be just a fun way of doing that and just asking some questions live here. And so you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good. And I guess, first of all, how long have you been in the real estate business, Miguel?
So I've been in real estate about 7 years. I got licensed in March of 2013.
2013, so 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been it's an interesting ride the last 7 years, hasn't it? It's been pretty decent marketplace, would you say?
Yeah, I got in at a time, right as the housing market really started cranking, and it had just this massive upward momentum for years. And I always wondered, what it would be like to experience the different market. And it was something that it was always like kind of in the back of my mind. What is it going to look like? How am I going to react? What are you going to do, Ed? And we're seeing that now. And I guess I can say that it's truly been an honor to go through an economic circumstance like this and be under your tutelage. Your leadership has been incredible and really just a great example of how to be unwavering when the earth is crumbling beneath you.
Well, none of us saw this coming, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you as a part of the team and really, listening and learning and adjusting as we all need to when these situations happen. Off of work a little bit, tell us a little bit about you. What's your family life? What's your situation there?
Okay. Well, I'm born and raised in the South Bay, in Redondo Beach, and I went to Maricosta, graduated in '99. Both my parents are still in Southern California. My dad is in La Cañada, and my mom is in Mission Viejo. And I currently live in South Redondo in a beautiful oceanfront apartment with my girlfriend, Ashley, and our dog, Luna.
Are you looking out right now at the ocean?
I am, yeah.
Nice. Good. So when you started in real estate, where did you start your career?
So I started with Shorewood. As if anybody doesn't know, Shorewood was, the premier local independent real estate brokerage in the South Bay. And I was working out of the Hermosa office for, like I say, I got licensed in March, so 9 months. And then I came over to the good guys and joined up with the Kaminsky group.
Hey, Candace, thanks for watching. I see you're out there.
Hey, Candace.
Thanks for joining in. So you started right here with, Shorewood was the 900-pound gorilla, right? When we all were working there at that time. So explain how you ended up with us, with the Kaminsky Real Estate Group. What was that process?
All right, well, buckle up because it's a story. So actually, the way that you and I got together was kind of a three-pronged occurrence. So my mom had lived in the Riviera on the hill in Redondo for years, and her husband has a daughter who's similar in age to me, and she lives in Mission Viejo. She had 2 girls, so both grandkids are in Mission Viejo, and my stepdad was, kind of feeling like they needed to move down there to be closer to the kids. So they put their house up for sale. And I don't remember who the agent was. This was prior to me having my license. I was actually, I was in real estate school at the time. So it was the home for sale. The agent doesn't get the job done, and here comes Ed Kaminsky to save the day. And they meet with you. They listed their home, and you sold it, obviously. And so during the escrow process, my mom reached out to you and said, "Hey, my son is in real estate school. Would you mind just talking with him?" And so you and I started shooting emails back and forth. And now that I see things from the perspective of working with you and how busy you are, we're completely impressed that you were taking the time to shoot emails across with just upstart kid who really didn't have any value to you at the time. You're just more like doing something nice for your client. So that's how you and I started talking. Then I was in real estate school and ended up becoming friends with a married couple. And the more we got to talking, it turns out that they were Stuart and Natalie.
Ah, yes.
Right? Your brother and sister-in-law. So that was the second connection. Then I'm friends with Becky Davidson, who is a realtor in the area and was on your team. And she called me one day and said, "Hey, listen, I've been working for Ed, and I'm going to go out on my own, and I think this would be a good opportunity for you." So that was the third connection. And so I called you up, and I remember it was the Wednesday of the Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Manhattan. So we meet up down in downtown Manhattan, and we started talking. And you're like, do you think that you can do this? Do you think you can take on what it requires to be a part of the team? And I said, of course I do. And you said, okay, well, I need you to go up and just talk to that guy right there. Just talk to him about anything. I was like, just go talk to a guy. And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. So I went up and talked to the guy, and we had a good conversation. It ended up being about a 10-minute talk, and came back to you, and you're like, okay, come back in the morning. We met the next morning, and the rest, I guess, is history.
Well, that was the first test, right? And I think what's important to understand about real estate, and I think you took early to it, but your job as a realtor is to communicate well with your clients, to be comfortable walking into any situation and trying to discover what their needs are. Or if you have a client with needs, you have to go talk to people you don't know and find out if there's a way to create a meeting of the buyer and seller through these conversations. So it was a really critical first test, and you passed, and you're still here. So good job. Yeah. So what would you say are your 3 favorite things about being in real estate or being a part of our team? Either one, you can go either direction.
Okay. I think the biggest satisfaction that I gain from being in this profession is really being able to help people, being able to provide them with expert guidance, and helping them successfully purchase a home or sell. Either way, it's a different mindset with each type of client. With a buyer, you're trying to negotiate the best price, or whether it's if it's a multiple offer situation, you're trying to outbid other buyers, or if there's nobody else around, and you're trying to walk that fine line of getting them the home for a price that both parties will agree to. And then on the seller side, obviously it's pricing it accurately and maximizing the earnings they can acquire out of that sale.
Right.
So, I mean, helping people for one, and then I guess my favorite thing about being part of the Kaminsky group is, the type of environment that occurs in the office space. It's a really, really positive environment where you are in there educating and helping the whole machine run, and it's just a really, really like safe place with good people, and I highly appreciate that.
Good. We're glad you're a part of it, Miguel. So before real estate, you must have done something, right? What'd you do before real estate?
Yeah. So I went to school. I went to UCSB and LMU, and I was a history major, and I thought I was going to teach, and that ended up.
You want to be a teacher?
I wanted to, yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up not, pursuing that, and so when I got out of school, I ended up bartending, and I was, bartending and managing bars and restaurants in the area. And that's actually how I ended up getting in real estate, oddly enough. So I was working for Sharky's in Manhattan Beach, and Sharky's does this incredible thing, and I didn't even know what to expect, but they offer their managers an opportunity to go to a self-development seminar. And at the time, I was in my late 20s, and knew that I would need to go into that next chapter of my life, career-wise, eventually. I didn't know what it was going to be, so I was open to anything and out there looking. And they sent me to this self-development seminar, and that was really the first time that I was introduced into the power of subconscious thought. So that opened up a lot of things for me mentally. But at the end of the weekend, they came up to me and said, "Okay, well, what is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to do?" And I said, "I want to, be a real estate agent." And they said, "Okay, we're going to call you in 2 days, and you're going to tell us what you've done to, make that goal reality." So I signed up for classes, and just everything just skyrocketed. Like it happened so fast, and really, really good. And it's like such a valuable lesson in taking action and defining specific goals.
Do you recall the name of the program?
Yeah, it was called PSI. So it's like Landmark. I think that might be the more notable.
Got it.
Name, but it's
yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So obviously we're sitting in this interview during a current pandemic. Surprising that we're still in this thing, right? I just wanted to kind of note when this was taking place. But in general, if you're going to give guidance to a buyer, give them one suggestion, forgetting the pandemic issues that are related to that, what is your general advice that you talk to when you speak to a buyer? What do you suggest to them or advise them? Maybe a first-time buyer or
so
words of wisdom.
The first thing you need to do is you need to know what you can afford. So one of your first conversations is going to be with a lender that you trust. If you don't know somebody, off the top of your hand, consult with a real estate agent, and they'll be able to refer you to multiple. So once you know how much home you can afford, then the most important thing is to really know what you want. A lot of people, when they first start, they go, "Okay, well, we're going to be okay in Santa Monica and maybe Long Beach," and you just have this massive geographic area that you're looking in. And as the process unfolds, you really start to realize how niche-y these markets can be.
Right.
So getting down to the nitty-gritty of every neighborhood and knowing what street is better than the next, and that's where your realtor is going to really come into play to give you that expert advice on what is good value. What do you like? How is the best way to achieve what you're trying to do?
Perfect. And so reversing the side of the transaction, talking about a seller, what's what's one thing that you would say to a seller? The best advice you could give a seller?
I think, I think showing condition is really, really crucial. So getting that advice up front and making the necessary changes beforehand to get your home show ready, because so much of the real estate process is emotional and psychological too. When people walk into a house, they don't notice it, but they start thinking, oh, the kitchen is dated, or they just start thinking about things that they would fix, and the cost starts adding up in their mind. And you really want to avoid that. You just really want to focus on making them feel good in that home and having them connect with it.
I think I can add to that. I mean, it's a really good point. You probably recognize it now with your young career, 7 years, but I started 32 years ago, and I will tell you that Candace is asking if she can call in. I don't know how to invite you in, Candace, but I'm seeing your comments. I appreciate it. Thank you. And anybody else who wants to comment or ask a question while we're on here, feel free. We're testing out our live stream right now, so any interaction you have or questions, feel free to throw them out there and I'll try to recognize them. But what I wanted to add, Miguel, is when I started in the business, we sold what we had, right? If the home was a mess, we sold it. If the furniture looked like crap, we just sold it the way it was.
Right.
There was no staging. There was no HGTV. None of this was going on. So with the advent of HGTV and all these home improvement shows, everybody sits at home and starts to believe that a lot of homes, all homes look that way.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So they're going shopping. If it doesn't look like the last episode of whatever TV show they watch, a fix and flip, they get a little disappointed. So I do think a little bit more effort has to go into the showing condition of homes today than we ever thought before. But I will add also that probably the number one control, I tell sellers all the time, they control the speedometer on the sale of their home.
Right.
One thing, and that's price, right? So you could have the worst house in the neighborhood, but if it's priced correctly, it's still going to sell. And they can have the most beautiful home in the neighborhood, and if it's overpriced, it's not going to sell. So that plays a significant role as well. What do you feel is your personal greatest attribute as an agent, Miguel?
I've, in the 7 years that I've been doing this, I've learned a lot about myself and aspects of my personality that I maybe was aware of but didn't know how to focus on. But I really realized that I have a kind of a grinder mentality, or kind of a bulldog approach, that if somebody is really honed in on finding something, I'm morning, noon, and night just focused on that and not going to quit until we find it. And it's happened many, many times. And to be able to kind of develop that aspect of my personality has been something that's been fun to do.
Well, I've seen you in action, Miguel, and I think I tell you all the time, probably one of your biggest strengths is your absolute concern for your clients. It comes out all the time, and you're always trying to do the right thing and make them smile and really do whatever they say. And sometimes it gets you in trouble, but sometimes it really shows up in how important they are to you. And I think that goes a long way, that you put their needs way before your own.
Yeah, and that's totally true. And
yeah,
it comes out in different ways in different transactions. And when there are times where I stop and reflect and go, kind of just connect the dots on what happened. I really can look in the mirror and say I genuinely do what's best for my clients.
And I believe that.
Yeah,
it shows. So, off of real estate now, what do you like to do on your day off?
I mean, living in this area is such a blessing because there's so many options, you know. But you know, Ashley and I like to get out, and we've been going on a lot of walks lately, trying to get our 10,000 steps in, and but going on a hike, or just, you know, we have a really great group of friends, so there's really endless options of fun to have, and we try to, you know, live our life to the fullest.
How do you track your steps? I have to ask. You know, I'm always trying to learn about technology.
You know, we don't have like a Fitbit or anything. I just use the little heart app on the iPhone, and that'll track it.
It does. Got it. Good. And then if you had an inspiration or inspirational person, mentor, who would you say it is?
Well, just by throwing the word mentor in there, you kind of steered me right to you.
I wasn't trying to get you
there. No, but I mean, just realistically, you have been such an influential figure in my life and my development, and I'm, you know, forever grateful for your role. But as far as inspiration goes, lately I've been really connecting and aligning with my own goals and dreams and visualizing them in great detail. And I think that has really played a prominent role in my success. So now I have specific things that I am looking forward to, you know, in order to, you know, improve my life and my future, and you know, with retirement in mind, actually, for both myself and Ashley. And so connecting with those things and acting with that in mind as the main goal has been something that's really, really been important lately.
Can you see the questions on the screen? Hit the comments box. Is that on yours? If not, I'll tell you the question.
Yeah, what's the question?
It says, question from Miguel. Is that jacket red or cardinal?
Neither. It's actually, we'll call this Cabernet.
Cabernet. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to the last question you asked, because I know everyone has somebody, but outside of me and outside of your personal goal setting, is there anyone that has inspired you to be who you want to become in your life?
Oh, I mean, so many people, you know, and I think I approach each relationship with I guess with that in mind. You know, my father has been somebody that's been absolutely influential in the way that I do things, and I think the way that I fight for the best interests of my clients is something that I learned from him for sure. But again, I have an amazing group of friends and support, and each one of them plays a different role in just becoming a better person. So I can't really say one person, but it's kind of just everybody in all of our lives, right? Plays that role, and just try to be a better person for them.
Great. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Actually, just going to ask you, it's a question with a one-word answer.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple choices, and you have to pick one or the other.
I love games.
All right. Kings or Ducks?
Kings.
Rams or Chargers? Lakers or Clippers?
Good.
Dodgers or Angels? Galaxy or football?
Ooh, that's a good one. Went to a Galaxy game in Carson. That was a fun experience. And I haven't been to see LAFC yet, but that new stadium downtown looks like it's awesome.
It is. Nothing but good stories come out of people that go there.
Yeah.
The ambiance, the kind of even after the game, people stick around to hang out. I mean, we can't do any of that now, but
right.
I can't wait till it's back.
Have you seen any like social media videos of people in there like it was like it's such a new organization in town, but the fans like have this culture, deep culture already, and they have these like dances that they do, and you see the whole stadium and everybody's bouncing. It's super cool. It looks like
That's fun, yeah.
Great
Certainly
experience.
one thing I'm missing right now is sport.
Let's go to a soccer game whenever that's possible in the future.
And one more here. Sushi or tacos?
That's tough. Both. Sushi tacos.
Sushi taco. Oh, good. Well, listen, for those that are watching, this is how to reach Miguel. And I think I have my info there, or myself. We appreciate you just checking us out and letting us be a experience on this group. What color paint is on your wall behind you? Candace is full of questions. She would like to know, what color is the paint behind you?
That's hard. It's like
is it because you like the color, Candace, or you want to paint your room, or
it's
you
like
don't
diet taupe.
Taupe. Okay, we'll go with taupe. All right. Well, Miguel, thanks for jumping on today on your day off, or Sunday, although we don't get Sundays off, do we?
No, I don't know the last day I really took off. But.
I appreciate you spending time with me. Appreciate you being on the team and doing the hard work that you grind out every day and making your clients smile every day. They appreciate it. I know it. I hear from them. And thank you, Miguel, for being a great friend as well. With that, we're going to sign off. And thanks for watching our first live event. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, guys. And thank you, Ed.
You're welcome. Bye.